We've been living aboard our widebeam canal boat for 5 months now, and while James is still waiting for autumn, for me, nothing beats the British summer. You feel it everywhere, in the light, in the trees, in the birdsong, and in the wildlife.
It's the longest day of the year this week, which means we're waking up at 4:30 and we're not going to bed until 10:30 because that's how long the sun is out for.
Before we came back to the UK, seasons were either wet or dry, but temperatures always hovered around 30 degrees Celsius throughout the year. We had 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime, and we quickly got into the habit of waking up with the sun and going to bed when it went down. And it's a hard habit to break because these days we seem to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
When asked what we missed most when we were abroad, the seasons was very close behind family and the pub. Now we've been back for 5 months, we've had 3 of them. We started in winter, we've had spring, and now we're in summer. Winter was cold, there was snow on the ground and no heating on the boat. Coming from the tropics, we knew it would be a shock, so loaded up with thermal layers. In March, leaves and buds appeared on the trees. Then the wildflowers and woodland trees bloomed, covering the world in colour, and pretty soon the air was thick with their blossom and seeds. Now it's summer and nature has exploded. The towpaths are dripping with growth, and the walkways like this one in Thorpe Wood are completely overgrown, and we've got grasses and flowers taller than me all along here. Not only that, the place is abuzz with insects. Every walk reveals new flowers. Instead of bluebells and dandelions, we now have buttercups, clover, woodland forget-me-nots and herb robert. Just like anyone, we love bumblebees, but like many insects, their habitats are eroding. So to help protect their populations, we've joined the Bumblebee Conservation Trust. For £3.60 a month, our joint membership helps the bees and gets us an enamel pin badge and a window sticker and loads more bits and bobs. I'll put a link in the description.
We wondered if it was just us or if it's just been unusually warm this year. But a quick dive into the Met Office data shows that the climate has indeed changed throughout the time that we've been away. This spring was the sunniest and the warmest on record. And it's not in isolation. Last year, 2024, was the 4th warmest year since records began. From the Met Office website, all top 10 warmest years have been since the year 2000, with 5 in the most recent decade of 2015 to 2024. In fact, every year of the most recent decade have been warmer than the 1991 to 2020 long-term average. So what does this mean? Well, it looks like we've jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire, and those long hot days that Liz was looking forward to leaving behind have actually followed us.
But the bigger problem for waterways users is the increase in rainfall in the last 20 years. And this has led to a lot of flooding, which has led to closures of the locks, and the banks have been breaking. And this has inevitably meant that people cannot go through the waterways during those very wet months. However, Spring 25 has gone against this trend, and in fact we've got less rainwater than we've had in previous years. And this is just as bad as flooding, because what it means is that the canals dry up and we've got low water. The CRT publishes the water levels around the whole network, and currently there's quite a lot of problems throughout, and we'll show you that on this map. The real problem for Happy Days, of course, is that we were hoping, once Jamie'd finished all his hard work, to take the whole of the Leeds-Liverpool as our first major outing. Leeds-Liverpool is one of those places that's now closed.
The canal is now abundant with lily pads, and Happy Days is surrounded by them. Paddling among the foliage are the ducks, and it's our duty to feed them each day through the aptly named duck hatch. If we're running late, they tap their beaks on Happy Days' hull to get our attention. What began with feeding a single pair has over the weeks expanded to include not only their ducklings, but also a few more hens. Word has clearly spread throughout the bird community, though there's definitely a pecking order, if you'll pardon the pun.
Of course, now we're living with all these seasons, we have to think about our clothing, which is very different to how it used to be. So, luckily, being on a wide beam, we have plenty of room to keep our clothing. We don't have to separate winter and summer gear. I'm up there, Jamie's down there, and not only that lovely wardrobe, we've got a second wardrobe which has shoes in the bottom, coats and jackets and things at the top. There are 4 drawers there, and over in the corner where Jamie is standing, there are 2 more drawers. So plenty of room on a wide beam for clothes storage.
For the last couple of weeks I have been working on the dog box. No, it's not another bed for Marley. The dog box is the very big hatch that we've got in the saloon here. As you can see, it lets in a lot of light, but unfortunately it's also been letting a little bit of water, and this is due mainly to the paint job. The paint was literally peeling away, so it needed some attention. Okay, repairs to the Houdini hatch. This has taken quite a long time to prepare. As you can see, I've stripped back most of the paint on the top part of it. Didn't need to strip it back around the sides here, but I've just given that a sand and a key. Fortunately, I have my assistant here who's been helping me every step of the way, haven't you, Marley? So this is how it works. It's very simple. We have this attached to the hatch itself, and this literally just winds up. We use a handle for this, and that pushes this up. Now actually, unfortunately on this one, this broke, so I've got to fix that, but you can see it on this side here. I've disconnected it from the hatch itself, but yes, you wind that up and it opens it up. The main issue that we've got is water tends to build up down here, so we've got a little bit of rotting on here, but I've managed to fill that up. Biggest problem though is this patch here. It was only this morning when I sort of dug away at it, I realised it was quite a big hole, a little bit damp and quite deep. There's that dog again, Marley. Where is he? By the way, up until recently, we've been referring to this as the Houdini hatch. It's not a Houdini hatch. A Houdini hatch sits flush on the roof. Our style, where it comes up from above of the roof, is called a dog box for some reason or another. So what I've done is I've put some epoxy inside. There's probably about 1 centimetre deep in the end, which is too deep for the filler. And then obviously I'm putting some filler on the top. This unfortunately has held back the painting of the primer, which is what I was hoping to be getting on with this morning. I need to check the weather, make sure that we've got enough sun or it's not going to rain later. But anyway, that is the outside. The biggest issue I've had, I suppose, is deciding where to stop painting, because preparing inside is going to take just as long, and I need a step ladder, which we don't have. So what I've decided to do, I've masked off underneath here. So I'm going to paint up to this point here and then finish the inside another time. Most important thing is to get this done, because it does leak a little currently in its current state, and I'm hoping to fix that. But you can see what's happening inside. The water's been building up across the top of this rim here, and you can see there's a little bit of water damage on the woodwork. It's another beautiful sunny morning. We have to take advantage of days like these, because obviously we are beholden to the weather, and any hint of rain means that I can't do any painting. I'm using a gloss paint. You can see it's very shiny. This is the undercoat. I'll talk about that in a moment. But of course the minimum drying time is around 6 hours. So even if I put it on at say 9 in the morning, you know, it needs to be till at least 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and sometimes that's when the rain comes in. Anyway, the point is that I've now got 2 coats of primer down on this. And what I was hoping was that this would pretty much cover most of the blemishes and holes and cracks, and it's not done a bad job. Bear in mind, of course, I was putting this onto bare wood. It was treated with linseed oil, which has helped to protect the wood itself, but we still have a few holes. There's a couple of cracks. I think something like that will be covered by the final coat. We're going for a satin finish, you'll be pleased to know, not the high gloss that you see at the moment. These are obviously 2 old screw holes or something, so I've got to fill these in. Because you're taking it right back to bare wood, 2 coats just about covers the paint, the wood evenly. So I'm actually tempted to put a 3rd coat on, maybe not all over, but certainly on some of the patches where it's clearly not completely covered it. I don't like filling holes after painting, because it means you've got to sand it back. That's what I'm going to do now. I've just got some wood filler here, so I'm literally just going to fill in these tiny, tiny little holes, and use the least amount as possible. This has taken me many weeks, and that is because I started work on this when we had a really nice spell, and I was able to put the linseed oil on, 2 coats of that, and then we had some rain. And then since then, we've had mornings that start off like this, and then of course it starts raining in the afternoon, which means it writes off the whole day. So it's taking a little while, but we're getting there. So this job has been keeping me occupied for the last few weeks, especially because I'm trying to catch weather windows. Once I finish this, we'll then be ready to install the solar panels. Now, we've mentioned this project a couple of times already, but we are literally ready to put in the order for the panels, and we hope to start installing them next week. So more on that in the next episode. Meanwhile, Liz has been disappearing every morning. Wonder what she's up to. So this is where you've been hiding. What are you doing?
Well, you know this, and a few people might know, I'm writing a book. And it was a book that was proposed by Bloomsbury, and I agreed to do it last year, and I'm still writing it. So yes, it's about sailing. That's something that we've done for a very long time. For 20 years we've been sailing. We've given that all up to live here on the canals of England. But it's a book on how to become a liveaboard cruiser, to live permanently on a sailing boat. A lot of it, certainly at the beginning, is about how to make the leap, the psychological leap. And in fact, Bloomsbury want to make the subtitle making the dream a reality. And I think that is really all of the first part of the book, is how to do that. We all have dreams, but so few of those dreams actually become real. A lot of people want to live on the canals, but they can't quite work out how they're going to make it happen. And it's perfectly doable, just like living on a sailboat is perfectly doable. You don't need experience, you don't need a huge amount of money. It can be done. But yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of it is self-help, because I think that's what you need when you're going to be changing your lifestyle so dramatically like we have here. Now, the problem was I started it and then I got so involved in living here on the canals and living on our new widebeam boat that I didn't do any writing for almost 2 months. So I'm now playing catch up. And to be honest, I did kind of almost want to not do it, but you encouraged me. So here we are, and every day I'm writing something, and I'm doing pretty well. I'm halfway through the first part, really rocketing along now. So, yep, that's what I do. Every morning I write something in the new book.
Marley arrived from the dog shelter 2 months ago, and every day has been a joy. He's settled into boat life like a seasoned old salt, but the really gratifying thing is how fast he learns. He knows sit, stay and go to bed, and is already 99% better at walking on a loose lead. As a reward for all this training, he's now able to run off the lead, but he doesn't go far because retrieving the ball is his #1 favourite thing.